So once again, it is a shame. It wasn't hurting nobody. You know what I'm saying? It didn't put people into positions in these schools that didn't deserve it, and they couldn't graduate, or they were failed. Like, no, our black leaders, our black entrepreneurs, our black entertainers into promoting these schools, just like they did all these other ones. So I'm pretty sure if you're at an age, okay, if you're around my age, 36, I'm pretty sure you have heard this saying before, okay? If it's not broke, don't fix it. Okay? If nothing is wrong with X, Y, and Z, don't fix it. You know what I'm saying? Some people just get too antsy, too hands-on, and they're always trying to fix something that doesn't need to be touched, and sometimes they make it worse. You know what I'm saying? So I am talking about affirmative action, okay? Affirmative action, okay? I first learned, I probably first learned about affirmative action from Chris Rock when I was a teen. Like, I read his book and he talked about affirmative action, and it always kind of stuck with me. So, when I think of affirmative action, I don't know how many times I'm going to say that word in this video. I always think of Chris Rock. So, but once again, the Supreme Court decided to just take it out. And I'm just thinking, because I'm a thinking person and I look for data and analytics and history and things like that, mush it all together in my brain and make an assumption, an analysis. And with all the data that's shown that affirmative action has worked, okay, because a lot of people's perception is they'll just throw somebody from the hood and just throw them into an Ivy League school and they fail horribly. I'm pretty sure we've seen Candace Owens. I did a video about this. Candace Owens, like, you're taking someone who doesn't belong there intellectually, and they're just going to make themselves look even worse. You know what I'm saying? And of course, if that's how affirmative action really worked, then yeah, that would be that would be bad on all levels. You know what I'm saying? But that's not how that works, and the data and everything else backs that claim up. You know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead and watch Bakari Sellers. I definitely enjoy listening to him speak. I think he has a lot of knowledgeable information, especially when it comes to affirmative action. Let's hear what he has to say, and let's have that conversation.
Bakari Sellers, man, we are happy to have you. So the Supreme Court says that colleges and universities can no longer take race into consideration as a specific basis for granting admission, a landmark decision overturning longstanding precedent that has benefited Black and Latino students in higher education. Bakari, man, thank you for coming on this morning. Let everybody know how this decision is going to affect everybody, like what's going on with the Supreme Court.
Well, let me just say, Ricky, first, thanks for having me, as always. Shout out to everybody over there in the studio. It's a sad day. I mean, I think that most people realize it's a sad day for this country. Every step we take forward, it feels like we take two steps back. And yesterday was just like many other days with the Supreme Court, where they happen to take away, clearly established rights from us all. Many people understand that affirmative action has benefited, and this is going to kind of shock the conscience, but affirmative action really has benefited white women more than anybody else. Throughout its history, that has been the number one group to benefit from affirmative action being established. But what you're going to see now is a lot of these elite institutions, your Ivy League schools, your Georgetowns, even some of your state schools like University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, etc., they're going to become whiter and more Asian, and they're going to have less Hispanics and less Black students. And it's worth noting, though, the plaintiffs in this affirmative action case were Asian students, and it was weird how organizations went out and wanted to pit minorities against each other. But Clarence Thomas got appointed to do this. He's been there 30 years. This is all he's ever wanted to do, was get rid of affirmative action, and he did it. He was successful.
Wow. Bakari, let me ask you, shouldn't folks start protesting some of these universities if they're not fair with admission, because they always want to recruit black athletes to go and win national championships for these mainstream universities? And what kind of power do we have? What can we do?
I mean, that ship's kind of sailed. And the universities, to be honest with you, the universities are the ones who actually value diversity. They know how valuable it is to have black and brown faces on their campus, and they want to do everything they can usually to let them in. But they've been handicapped. I mean, the fact remains that elections have consequences. And in 2016, Donald Trump became president of the United States.
Come on now.
And he put 3 of his justices on the Supreme Court. There are a couple of things that happened. Donald Trump beat Hillary Clinton because we had this belief that there were, to be that bad, and we're seeing the results of that. That's one. And two, Ruth Bader Ginsburg didn't retire. She was old, and she should have retired when Barack Obama was president, and she didn't. She took the gamble that Hillary Clinton was going to be president of the United States, and we lost that gamble, so Barack Obama didn't get that seat. I mean, if Ruth Bader Ginsburg retired in January of 2013, at the beginning of Barack Obama's second term, then you have a totally different court. Now we have a court with Clarence Thomas as king, and respectfully, I love a lot of black people, most black people, but Clarence Thomas ain't one person I want to govern my life.
You said exactly what I've been saying for years. Folks didn't go out and vote in 2016, and Donald Trump got 3 picks. Three picks.
That's right.
And,
elections from city council on up have consequences. People want to act like they don't, but they do, and we're seeing that right now.
Yeah. So now he just set us back. 50 years? 50 years of affirmative action.
At least 50 years. But it's surreal, because I think that right now HBCUs should benefit from this. Hopefully that they're prepared. Hopefully our HBCUs are prepared to take on more students, to recruit more black students, to be suited to take on what it means to have, a few thousand more black students. And it's just going to be harder for black students to get into these elite institutions.
There it is, man. Hey, man, thank you so much, man.
All right,
and,
so let me go ahead and add on to that here. Let's go ahead and go full screen. Bam, bam. So I think Ricky, he brought up a good point, which is the classic, let's go and protest, you know what I'm saying? I'm plugging my iPad here. It's about to die. Which is cool. It's all right. We can go ahead and protest. And when I first heard this conversation, I was like, fuck it. We gonna protest. You know what I'm saying? If they don't want us in, we are going to make some noise. That's what we do best. But then Bakari, once again, brought up a good point. And, if we can get anything from this situation, because things are a lot different now than it was 50 years ago, 60 years ago. We have the ability to go to our HBCUs and make them great. Make these institutions the Ivy school, the school that everybody and their mama want to attend. Our celebrities, our black celebrities, our black entrepreneurs, our black leaders, our black activists, black folks in general, and brown need to make these schools competitors. Then we don't need no affirmative action, because it had its place, because it's gone now. It served its purpose. And like I said, things is different now than it was 50 years ago. We didn't have the ability to obtain our education in an environment that looked like us, that reflect our culture. We didn't have that. Now we do. So once again, it is a shame. It wasn't hurting nobody. You know what I'm saying? It didn't put people into positions in these schools that didn't deserve it, and they couldn't graduate, or they were failed. Like, no, the data and the stats prove differently. It didn't hurt nobody. But, we got, some sticky fingers, some slimy sticky fingers in the Supreme Court, and it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But I think the best next move is to make these HBCUs great. And that's going to take people actually wanting to go, obviously. And it's going to take funding, it's going to take promoting, it's going to take our Black leaders, our Black entrepreneurs, our Black entertainers into promoting these schools, just like they did all these other ones. So once again, if you think I'm wrong, if you just think affirmative action killed white people, and it took away white people's kids for whatever reason, I don't know why people didn't like affirmative action. But if that is you, and you want to have this conversation knowing that I got the facts and the data on my side, well, by all means, step into the ring, leave a comment down below, and like always, let's have that conversation.
Thank you for listening, and don't forget to join the conversation by subscribing. Make sure to tune in next time, and like always, power to you, power to me, power to the people, power to the pod.